Hey Soul Sisters, thanks for watching. Welcome to another episode of Turn Up the Love Live. I'm Sarah Pettis, body positive intuitive eating coach and the founder of turnupthelove.ca. And I help serial dieters to stop self-critical body talk, obsessive calorie tracking, feeling guilty around food, exercising for punishment, and teaching them how to trust food and their bodies again. And this week we are getting into the topic of how to be body positive without losing weight. Okay, so there's this common belief that body image is actually correlated with one's actual physical appearance. And for many, they usually believe that if we improve how we look, typically by losing weight or tightening up our body composition or losing inches, that we will be happy or happier about our appearance. And of course, in a diet culture, this absolutely makes sense, right? It makes sense. However, it is not necessarily true at all. Because here's the thing, losing weight doesn't always make us feel better about ourselves. And I experienced this firsthand. So I want you to really come to this topic with an open mind and really think about here the principles that I'm going to share with you and open yourself up to the idea that you can be body confident without actually losing weight or changing your body in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so thank you again so much for watching. If you're watching the replay of this, please feel free to jump into the comments and get in on the conversation. I respond to absolutely everyone, so if you have any questions or comments following this conversation, I welcome you to join in. And if you are watching live, if you wouldn't mind letting me know where you're tuning in from, I always love to know where you guys are at in the world and what time it is there, and what brought you to this live conversation today. So today we're actually going to be getting into ways to be body positive without even considering weight loss, how weight stigma is further feeding this fat phobic and disordered eating epidemic, and really that is what is the core of this conversation and why it was so important for me to discuss this today, because really that's what's happening. We are living in an extremely fat phobic society, and disordered eating is completely on the rise. We're also going to chat about what is the health at every size approach and why this is actually so incredibly important to understand if you want to be free in your body and experience body confidence. And then I'm also going to be sharing how to choose body acceptance and why the only approval that you will ever need is your own. Okay, so to kick things off, who here has ever felt at one time or another that they couldn't be healthy or accept themselves unless they first lost weight or they fit some sort of body ideal in general? Has anyone ever felt that way? If so, hit me up in the comments on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I cannot be healthy and accept myself at this size, and 1 being I no longer feel this way at all. Let me know. Give me a gauge as to where you're at with this, because it's extremely important to know. So before we actually dive into today's topic, I just really wanted to shine a mega bright light on this for a second, okay? So I've recently been diving into the arena of weight stigma. For about a year or so now, I would say. And I recently posted an image on Instagram, and it stirred up a lot of controversy. And I totally get why it did. I totally understand why it stirred up this major controversy. Because coming from a weight loss coaching background, I worked in corporate weight loss for 3 to 4 years, and I was trained to be a health coach in that manner, focusing purely on weight and BMI. I completely understand why this stirs up this controversy. And the thing is that this information that I'm going to share with you, it completely be new to you, and you literally have no idea about this approach if you've never explored it, right? Which is exactly why I wanted to share it with you guys today. So through my experience as a body positive intuitive eating coach, I've come to realize that with working with fellow women and the soul sisters that I get to spend time with, that we are living in a culture that is extremely fat phobic. And it is the result of us dealing with disordered eating patterns. And it's become this huge, huge epidemic. And as a health professional, it's extremely important that I'm always open to continuing education. And especially leading with educational approaches that are evidence-based. Okay, and this is what actually brought me to the health at every size approach. And you may also see it online or on social media or anywhere that it's talked about as HAES. So it's HAES. And if you're not aware with the health at every size approach, I really encourage you to look it up, give it a Google search, and dive into this, because this is extremely important information. So let me break it down a little bit for you today. So what is the HAES approach, and what are the principles of the health at every size topic that I'm bringing up here, and why is it so important? So first and foremost, the health at every size approach talks about weight inclusivity, okay? So that basically means that you accept and respect an inherent diversity of body shapes and sizes, and reject idolizing specific weights, okay? That's the first principle, is weight inclusivity. Okay. The second one is health enhancement. Okay. And health enhancement basically meaning supporting health policies that improve and equalize access to information and services, and personal practices that improve human well-being, including attention to your individual physical, economical, social, spiritual, emotional, and other needs. AKA, it's looking at health from a diversified lens and considering your individual needs in all of those arenas, not just the physical body, okay? Because health isn't just about the physical. Health includes all of those other components of our makeup and of our well-being, all right? The next principle that health at every size really stands in is respectful care, okay? And this is basically acknowledging our own biases that we have around fat-phobic culture, and really working to end weight discrimination and weight stigma and weight biases that we ourselves have as, you know, members of society or health professionals. So this is an extremely important thing to pay attention to, because we have been raised in a diet culture that does say that this is how everyone's supposed to look. So when you look outside of that, it's being respectful of the fact that we may have some more things to learn here, right? And it's also about providing information and services to really understand that we are living in a social economic status of race and gender and sexuality and orientation and age and all of these other factors that really impact weight stigma and really support these environments that we're living in, okay? So really, really important to notice. And then the fourth thing that the health at every size approach really considers is eating for well-being. And this is a big one. This is a big one because this is the one that I get a lot of pushback on in the industry that I'm in. And really what it is, it's promoting flexible, individualized eating based on hunger, your pure real hunger cues, listening to your body and paying attention to your nutritional needs, but also pleasure, paying attention to pleasure as well. And rather than being extremely regulated, and eating just for weight control. It's about really listening to the body as a whole and focusing on all these other aspects as well. Okay. And I think that that is the best way and the most effective way to really pay attention to your body's natural cues also. Okay. And then last but definitely not least, one of the final principles that Health at Every Size approach takes on is life-enhancing movement, which is really supporting physical activities that allow people of all sizes, abilities, interests to really engage in enjoyable movement by the degree that they choose. So this is organic movement, movement that just feels comfortable and free and doesn't feel like this rigidness of forced efforts, okay? So before we got into this, I really wanted to share these principles with you because it's something that not a lot of us know because we are so ingrained in the diet culture and serving this higher agenda in this old paradigm that's just really not working for us. So I really wanted to share this with you because I do talk a lot about the Health at Every Size approach, but I just don't necessarily speak about it. So it's really incredible. You can look it up online. They even have trainings there. So if you are struggling with body image and you're wanting to be more confident in your body and you don't want to be taking on this weight loss approach, which we're going to get more into today, then I really encourage you to seek out this information because I think it could be really helpful and beneficial in your healing journey as it's something that I've really adapted to and I will continue to speak more on. Okay, so just wanted to start off the conversation in that way because, again, it's extremely important. So who here, based on everything that I just shared about the Health at Every Size approach, feels like this is such a breath of fresh air? Like you can actually breathe. Who here actually resonates with the Health at Every Size principles? And what do these principles and this sort of approach make you feel? What is your feeling after hearing this? Because I know when I first heard about the Health at Every Size approach, I was just like, oh my God, this is so different, but it is so incredibly necessary to actually heal and recover from disordered eating and, the side effects of negative body image and everything that I basically stand for. So it's really a breath of fresh air for me for sure, and I would love to hear your intake on it. So please feel free to share in the comments below as you're watching. Okay, so without the focus on weight loss, what can we do to actually start feeling better about ourselves? If weight loss isn't our focus, then what can we do? How do we bring this back? How do we bring ourselves back into that state of body confidence without actually considering weight or BMI or body composition or a fat loss or anything like that? What can we actually do to start feeling better in our bodies? Well, the first thing that I have to share, and this is a common one that I share frequently, is that we have to be able to let go of diet culture, okay? Diet culture is everywhere, and it is causing a lot of problems. It's causing us to live in this fat-phobic society. It's causing us to have these disconnected relationships with food. So diet culture absolutely has to go. And let me ask you this. Have you ever actually lost a bunch of weight? And please do not in the comments share how much weight you've lost. I don't like to talk numbers because it can be really triggering for anyone who's watching. So if you are talking about or responding to this question I have, please just don't mention any weight numbers. But have you ever lost a bunch of weight hoping that you'd feel happier or better about yourself, but then you felt defeated because once you reached your goal, there was no amazing surprise at the end. There was no rainbow with a pot of gold. It was just, it felt the exact same. Hit me up in the comments if you ever experienced anything like this, or give me a hell yeah if you know what I'm talking about. Because the truth of the matter is, I definitely experienced this. When I reached my goal weight, I literally had been on this dieting roller coaster for 10 years at that point. And it was not what I expected. I reached my goal weight and I was just kind of like, oh, that's it. I reached it. Just stared down at the scale, noticed the number in front of me, and that was it. There was nothing. There was no fireworks. There was no excitement. There was no joy. I didn't feel differently about myself. Nothing. It was just there. It was just a number shining back at me, right? So oftentimes we believe that losing weight will make us feel happier and more confident, right? We sort of are in this desperate attempt to shed these pounds, and we undertake, crazy crash diets. We begin counting calories. We put ourselves through intense, punishing workouts, and this may help us to lose weight. Yeah, sure. Because in that kind of lifestyle, of course you're going to lose weight, right? But the truth of the matter is it is extremely unsustainable, and we're constantly feeling stressed about keeping the weight off. I know I definitely experienced that. I put myself through all this rigidity. I would turn down social obligations or interactions that I wanted to participate in. I was a prisoner to the scale. I would weigh myself every single day, sometimes twice a day. I was constantly tracking my foods. I was always thinking about how I looked and how I could change. And that was all that consumed me, right? And then when I got there, I was like, oh my God, I'm here, but I cannot put this weight back on. So it became a further obsession, right? And that's really the problem here. But on the other hand, what would happen if we truly adopted a healthy lifestyle and began to accept our bodies at any weight? What would happen? It'd be a friggin' liberation. It'd be a friggin' liberation, right? And the thing is if we did just accept ourselves the way that we were and the way that we are, we would likely reach a healthy size and maintain it without the stress. Because that's what has happened. As soon as I checked out the scale and checked out the rules and let go of all this control, and I just lived and listened within my body and talked to her and connected with her and asked her what she needed in any given moment, and started to get more in tune with my spiritually and emotionally, and just really started to pay attention to how I wanted to be in the world and how I wanted to feel on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis, I realized that the weight never came piling back. It didn't do anything because I was so stress-free, and I was just choosing choices for my body that were in alignment with what she needed and wanted, right? So it's incredible that when we actually let that go and we let go of diet culture and we're just kind of like, screw it, I'm going to listen to the messages that my body gives me that I was born with, how incredible this whole relationship and how we really feel within ourselves and our bodies can change. I never felt more free, and I never felt more content in my entire life. So ditching diet culture is absolutely one of the first ways to feeling more confident in your body without losing weight. The second thing is I really want you guys to embrace and consider what it means to be healthy, like real health, you guys, real health. And I'm talking the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, okay? Not just the physical, because in our culture, we focus so heavily on the physical body, but we forget that the mental, emotional, and spiritual are equally as important as the physical body. So let me know in the comments, how would you actually define health? What does health mean to you? And I'm just going to catch up in the comments here on Instagram, see what's going on. Stop looking at Kim Kardashian. Oh God, don't even get me started on that woman. Don't even get me started on that woman. I've had to practice a lot of non-judgment and patience with the women that market themselves in our culture and the women who young girls are looking up to. I had several of them growing up as well, and I grew up in the era of Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and the Spice Girls, and all those pop babes, but I'm really trying to not judge others for their behaviors and really just consider that that's just the reality of where they are and where they're at. And most of the time, these celebrities are doing what they are told, and they are doing things to make a buck and to, again, serve the higher agenda. So I try to not place my own judgments on them, but it's challenging when you see these types of role models in society, especially when I'm working in a totally different realm and field. But yeah, definitely be mindful and pay attention to what you're watching and the messages that people are relaying to you, and really see how it feels and sits in your body, and really question if that is really the way to do things. For sure. So again, back on the topic of health and really embracing real health and all its components. So rather than simply trying to just lose weight, it's important that we begin to create this truly healthy lifestyle for ourselves that embodies all of these elements, right? In all of these areas. It's not just about the physical body, okay? It's also about that mental and the emotional and the spiritual sides of us, right? And I really want you to dive into this more, and this is something that I really explore with the women that I work with, specifically in the 90-day group sisterhood experience or the 90-day one-on-one mentorship program that I do with women, whether they choose to work with me one-on-one or in a group setting. This is definitely something that most of what I teach is centered around, because I find that in the health space, this is so not talked about enough. It's so much more about the physical than it is about these other components. So what does this even mean? What does being healthy in all these components actually mean? Well, it means eating whole, natural foods, allowing yourself to get mindful with your foods and savor your foods and your meal times and get really present with the food that's in front of you. It's learning how to connect with your hunger cues again and really pay attention to your body's natural rhythms of what it needs, when it needs to rest, when it needs to move, when it needs to reflect. It's paying attention to those things and engaging in physical activity that you actually enjoy rather than doing things that are forced and things that you can't stand and that you dread. Again, it's getting quiet, it's connecting, really leaning into your more spiritual side in whatever way that feels good for you, whether that's meditation or music or art or free flow writing, whatever that means. Connecting to spirit looks completely different for everybody and every body. So these are just some ways that you can really start to tap into your spirituality and your emotions. Maybe to understand more about your emotions, you work with a licensed therapist, and you explore past traumas, and you really allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling without the shame and without the guilt and without feeling like you have to put on this strong face all the time. Right? So this is what it really means to embrace health in all of its forms. And as you can tell by all the examples I've shared, it goes so much further than that physical body, right? And really what the whole point of this is this is to help you to establish a sense of embodiment and a sense of body awareness, which in turn can really help you to boost your body image because you're more tapped into your own needs, right? And you're not seeking validation outside of yourself to give yourself pleasure and give yourself joy and what you want, because you yourself are giving yourself exactly what it is that you need in all areas. Right? So hopefully that speaks and resonates with you guys. And the last and final thing I want to mention on how to be body confident without losing weight And this one's extremely important because I know it's so easy to get wrapped up in this 3D dimensional physical world that we're living in. But it's really paying attention to who you are trying to seek approval from. And really the fact here is that you really don't need to seek approval from anyone but yourself, right? Because the truth of the matter is it's your damn body, so it's your own damn life. And people who care about you will love you regardless of what your physical body looks like, right? So on that note, who here has ever tried to impress someone in their life, whether that be a guy or a friend or a parent or a teacher or someone of authority? Who here has ever tried to impress someone in your life? And what was sort of your experience, and how did you try to impress them, and what was the outcome of that? Feel free to share in the comments below if you're watching the replay of this also. So the thing is most of the time, the reason we believe losing weight makes us happier is to help us feel better is because we think that other people will like us more. We think that we will be more accepted. We think that we will be loved. We think that we'll be more valuable, right, in society. But the truth of the matter is, the cold hard truth is that there are always going to be people that find faults in who you are. It happens to me all the time. People are always picking out faults about me. Even if we were to look like supermodels, people would find something. Even when I, was doing all the things that I thought I had to do to be accepted, there were still things that people were making, comments that people were making about my physical appearance or my personality or something, right? Because you're never going to be able to make everyone happy. But the thing is, to be truly happy, and to feel confident, and to really raise your own self-esteem, it truly does have to come within. Happiness is not an outside job. It is something that you have to work on internally. It's that inner gym that you need to work on, right? And that's where the mindset piece really comes in here. And I find that when you can let go of needing to seek approval from others, and you can really just make sure that you're doing things that you are proud of, that's when this game changes. It totally changes when you just don't give an F about what anyone else thinks about yourself. And do that in a loving, compassionate way. That doesn't mean you need to be a jerk or, dismiss people and think that you're better than them because, you see yourself as being this, this self-actualized, awakened being of not needing approval from others. Remember, judgment only separates us rather than brings us together. So, but that's really what it's all about. It's only needing to seek approval of yourself, because at the end of the day, you are within you at all times, and you should be your best company. And it really matters only what you think and no one else. And on that note, it also if people truly, like I said, truly cared about you, it wouldn't really matter what your physical body looked like. It would not matter at all. And a really great example of this is this quote that I heard that was, only loving your body when she's in the best shape is like only loving your kids when they are well behaved, right? And how judgmental would that be, right? It's, so we got to really think about that for a second and really pay attention that we need to love ourselves through all of it, through the good, the messy, the ugly, all parts, because those moments and those experiences and what we learn in those times is really what makes us human. And we need to celebrate that we are these diverse and complex human beings, and that we are so much more, again, than just the physical body. Okay? So I really hope that that serves you guys. I really hope that that's helpful. I really hope that it gives you sort of an inside look of how things can change to be body confident without even considering weight loss, because it's literally this big. It's like a fleck of nothingness when it comes down to being body confident and really accepting who you are in your own skin. And our relationship with our bodies can be this beautiful and wonderful window into how we really look at ourselves at large and how we sort of interact and engage in the world at large, right? So working on improving our body image can really be the first step in this incredibly powerful journey towards self-acceptance, and also creating a culture that's surrounded around that as well. And that is my ultimate mission, is to, really ensure that we are changing these biases and these stigmas that are going on in diet culture right now, so that way we can hopefully raise a generation of children that don't have to deal with this, right? And even if that's not the next generation, at least somewhere down the line, I really hope to see that this shifts and changes. So now I want to hear from you guys. Share with me your biggest takeaways from today's live conversation, and really let me know what you're hearing or what you're hearing me say and all of this that I chatted about today. And you can hit me up in the comments below and let me know and share there. Just going to jump in the comments really quick. We're talking political stuff on Instagram. Yeah, I could definitely get into that with you, Mikhail. I'm not going to do it on here, but I have a lot to say on that too. I have a lot to say on all of that, talking about political stuff. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you really enjoyed this conversation, please feel free, or if you are loving this conversation, please feel free to share it with anyone that you think would really benefit from this conversation, because again, we are living in this extreme diet culture, and we can only share this message and make it go further and wider if you're open to sharing it and opening people up to these conversations. Or maybe you want to start to bring up this conversation of the health at every size approach. I would really love for that to be shared upon as well. And all month long, we're actually going to be talking about this important piece of body positivity. So if you are liking this conversation and you want to dive into more topics about body positivity, feel free to join me next Wednesday, where a brand new episode of Turn Up the Love Live will be dropping at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when I go live every single week. And on a side note, if you are looking for a really loving and supportive, really judgment-free space of women who are also working to love their bodies and accept their bodies without alteration, and ditching diets and reconnecting with food, come and join my absolutely free Facebook group called Turn Up the Love Insiders. It's an incredible sisterhood, and it's a really safe space where everybody is absolutely welcomed, and we would so love to have you there. So please feel free to join there. I'll be leaving the link to join in the comment section above as soon as I wrap this up, or you can just search on Facebook Turn Up the Love Insiders to get inside. Or if you want to take this journey even further, my calendar just recently opened up, and I'm going to be taking on some more private one-on-one clients. So if you're looking to really heal your relationship with food and come home to your body, then we should definitely have a soul chat and just see if we would be a really good fit, because I want to help you to get there, and I want to help guide you through this journey. And I think it would be really cool to see you experience the joy and the freedom and the satisfaction of what life really can be when you let go of needing to look and be a certain way within your own body by changing how much you weigh and what you look like. There's so much more to life than that, and it's incredible how many layers start to unfold when you can get out of that mindset of needing to change. So thank you everyone so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure and a joy as always. And if you're looking for more episodes or past episodes on body positivity, you can check out my website at turnupthelove.ca and catch all the replays there as well. Okay, thanks guys. I'll see you next week, and have an amazing rest of your day. And remember to stay kind and show up with a hell of a lot of love. Chat soon.